Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryan Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Atha Dvitiyodhyayah Shri Bhagavanuvacha. And I'm chanting 42 through 44. Yami mam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipashchitah vedavadaratah partha nanyadastiti vadinah kamatmanah swargaparaha janma karma phalapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishwarya gatim prati भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तयापहृत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते.
All right. Hari Om Shekharji. All right. So we were, the last verse that we did was Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Ekeha Kuru Nandana. That alone should be the goal. That alone will take you to your desired goal, which is moksha. And then he says that if you don't have that goal, what will happen? And then he says, because the other one, if it is not one, like we said, if infinite is not your goal, then you have infinite goals, which is here bahushakha anantyascha. That means then you will be in an endless cycle of karma. So there is no outlet to that. So to understand that, I just wanted to bring one more point up, that samatha alone. Samatha means the equanimity of mind is the most crucial thing here. Bhagavan didn't say you do tapas or you do whatever, rituals. He says, bring the mind to that samatvam. Samatva means that you are able to handle ups and downs without any problem. Let things come your way, but you are always equipoised. That's the goal. Because if we get attached to things, that bahushakha, basically we attach to prakriti and the things in prakriti. So we are constantly then in the cycle of life and death. So now Bhagavan says, going forward, that if you have a vyavasayika buddhi, that means you are bahushakha, that means you have. And how does it happen? Bhagavan says, yam imam pushpitam vacham. Pushpitam means flowery language, that you get enticed by this worldly flowery language of these people who are pravadantya vipashchitaha. Vipashchitaha means the one who are unwise. Bhagavan is like really harsh on those people, that they are unwise about pravadantya. That means they are speaking such flowery language about the goal of life. They tell you, what is you have to achieve this highest, you have the power in your hand, all kinds of motivational stuff will be there, but driving you to what? Yam imam pushpitam vacham avipashchitaha pravadantya. So those who speak these, they will tell you the goal of life is to achieve your best, get most out of this world. You have to, because to them the success means more toys that you have, the more successful you are. So So those unwise people with their language, Pushpitam Vacham, Imam, in this world. So, which means that the goal is worldly pleasures. If you have worldly pleasures, means buy this, go there, all kinds of reach a certain position, all these goals that you have set up. Bahushakha means many goals. It's not just one goal. You have to have many, many goals. Vacationing in Hawaii, or, going to, or being the president of the company, or CXO, or whatever. Basically, you still stay involved in the karma kanda, constant. Now, karma kanda is Vedic way of saying it, because in Vedas, 70 to 80% of Vedas are talking about karma kanda, which means you start with a sankalpa that I want this, like I want a son, or I want to increase my wealth, or I want to get to heaven. All kinds of rituals are there. And when you perform those rituals, then you get that. It's not like you don't get it. So they are not lying about it. You get it, but it is as ephemeral. It is all as short-lived as, the effort is not going to give you eternal happiness. So you won't get that moksha that you are, if that is the goal. If your goal is pleasures, go for it. That's why Bhagavan says, if your goal is that, if heaven is your only goal, then Vedavata Ratah Partha, Vedavata Ratah Partha means that they are constantly, they talk about Vedas. So see, we always talk about some other religion that have this temptation of heaven, that if you do this, if you join us, you will go to a special heaven, whether it is Christianity or Islam, or, they all have that Pushpitam Vacham, they will tell you all that. Bhagavan is criticizing that big time. He says, even in our Vedas, we have that. So it is not like he's criticizing others. He's criticizing our own things also. That the goal is not that, Vedavata Ratha. Na, what do they say? Nanya dastiti vadinaha. Na anyat. There is nothing else. They say, who? Those avipaschitaha. That means unwise people who are using this flowery language to say that there is nothing. और ये जो मोक्ष वोक्ष जो है, ये सब ऐसी कहानियां है, ये शेखर जी सुनाते हैं, लेकिन है कुछ नहीं. असली में तो the joys and pleasures of this world is the only goal you have, So Pushpitam. So basically, they keep you involved in the kama, artha, and maybe dharma, So in these three things, you are constantly in that laukik cycle that you cannot get out of it. See, when you say, what is heaven? Heaven is nothing but, what do you call it? A vacation destination. So you go there, spend some time, and you are kicked out of it. See, if you have a 7-day cruise, you go there, for after 7 days, they say, okay, out of here, you enjoyed your food, you enjoyed your everything, but after that, it is done. You are back to more karma so that you can go back to some other cruise or to some other destination. So this is actually an unending cycle. So Bhagavan is actually criticizing it big time here. He's not criticizing the ritual. So let me put it very clearly here. He's not criticizing the rituals. He is criticizing the reason for the rituals. If the reason for rituals is to develop love for Bhagavan, if the reason for rituals is to, what do you call it? mana shuddhi, chitta shuddhi, then these rituals are good. But if the goal is to get something, because you will never get out of the cycle, this is what, because in this one, moksha is not even an option. We are constantly looking for the next kick. We are looking for the next pleasure, So those who talks about either Lokik or Parlokik. Parlokik means after death, you go to a place, and that place is also temporary, at least according to our scriptures. It is not something you can live forever. It is there when you are, Chine Punya, what is it? The Bhagwad Gita Bhagwad Gita nahi, in Chine Punya.
Bhaj Govindam.
Bhaj Govindam ka. Something. So as your punyas are done, you are out of there. They are mercilessly kicked out of that place, So isliye, Bhagwan says that should not be your goal. You are not trying to have temporary pleasures. What is the use of all that? So all kinds of indulgences, that means do this, get this, do this, get this. This is all, we spend all our life in that. And we have spent zillions of lives like that. That is why we are still here. That is why we are still talking about it. That we are in that continuous cycle. So they say, they means the avipashyatah, the unwise guides that we have, the great, our leaders who say that. So somebody can say, what, I don't believe in Swarga. Okay, but do you believe in Switzerland? Do you believe that there is more pleasure somewhere, out there? So you go to Switzerland, if you have collected enough money and you buy something there and you enjoy, but then you realize, yaar, yahan thand bahut hai. It is not worth it. Or you are looking for the next Indian restaurant, because your vasanas go with you. Wherever you go, your vasanas go with you. It's your body also goes with you with all the problems. So now you are saying, okay, chalo, maybe Switzerland is not the place I want to go. I want to go to Hawaii. Much better. You go to Hawaii. You go there and, the peoples welcome you with the garland and everything because you are their God, They know that the dollars are coming from you. So they will like you, but as long as you are giving them dollars. Once you say, okay, I am done with my dollars, then they say, okay. They kick you out of there. So this is the same thing. Swarga is not a place. It is a different paristhiti. If you have worked for that paristhiti, you go there. But everything is very short-lived. That's the point, So, so you can go whatever, you want to do, but that is not the ultimate, the final destination. Okay. All right. So now let's go to the next one. So same thing, same thought continues. He says, kamatmanam swargah paraha. So what is kamatma? Kamatma means, atma means I. So that self which is totally absorbed in kama. That means they can only think of kama. Kuch bhi, anything to do with indulgences. So I am totally in the indulgent mode. This kamatma naam, or these, see, जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, papatma. Papatma means the one who is indulged in papa. Papa means nefarious activities. Or dharmatma, who is involved in the the dharma, or charity, or other good things in life, a good paropkar type stuff, or the ones who is identifying with the Brahman, we call them Mahatma. So same way we have Kamatmas also. जैसे धर्मात्मा है, जैसे पापात्मा है, महात्मा है, वैसे ही पाप अपने कामात्मा है. And what is their goal? Swarga paraha. That means they think the ultimate destination is Swarga. So everything that I am doing is to get to Swarga. So basically it is better parasthiti. So Swarga, don't think of it as a, it may be a place also, because we have, कहते हैं 14 लोक हैं, 14 lokas are there. So Swarga is one of them also. But they say that in Swarga, the two major problems that we have in this Mrityu lok, which is thirst and hunger, is not there. So you can enjoy your pleasures to a different level, but this is still temporary. That part we have to understand. And what do they say? What is the cycle here? Janma karma phala pradam. That means that this karma cycle continues. So you get janma, karma, phala, and based on this phala, you get a new janma. New janma is new type of life. New type of life that where you can enjoy different pleasures or different suffering. There is no pleasure that comes without suffering. Even if you go to heaven, your raga dvesha will go with you. Your samskaras go with you. They're not a place where your samskaras are, you cannot leave them behind. They are a package that goes together. So suppose you go to Swarga and they give you the key based on, okay, you have done 80% good karma. So you get this nice, the left wing of this nice palace. Okay, great. Then when you go there, you find that the neighbor you couldn't get along with is actually in the east wing. Okay. So, because your raga dvesha are with you. So they will continue. Whether you go to Swarga or you go to Naraka, they are always there. Or you come back to this world, Mrityu Loka also, they will not leave you. So the goal of Vyavasayatmika Buddhi was to get rid of our Raga Dvesh. We talked about it earlier, but we will talk about it again in the coming verses as well. So Janma Karma Phala Pradam. Matlab Janma, what is this Janma? Janma is nothing but a result of our karma only, right? This is a karma phala. This body is karma phala, my birth is a karma phala, who I am born to is a karma phala, the environment that I am born to is a karma phala, the people I interact with is a karma phala. So all this is nothing but karma phala only. So, and then he says, what happens to these people? Those whose goal is Swarga Paraha, is Kriya Vishesha Bahulam. They work like donkeys, they work a lot. They have to put in a lot of effort for little pleasures, So continuous involvement in action, that I have to do this, because, to get to a goal, you have to put in a lot of effort. So Kriya Vishesha Bahula, a Vishesh word is important here, because suppose I finish my schooling and then they say, okay, you can go to COD or local community college. And that's an option. But your goal is to go to Ivy League, because once you are in Ivy League, you will get to a better job, and all kinds of things are there. You'll have better networking. So what do you have to do? You have to really work hard in school, and then you get certificates. Then you have to, clear all your AP exams and do whatever else, because the goal is Swarga here, so you have to work very, very, very hard, So special result, special karma. So Kriya Vishesha Bahulam. So after doing all these things, what do you get? You get a little phal, and then mrityu, then janma, then karma, then phala, then mrityu, then karma. So that cycle is continuous. There is nothing that. What is the next line in this? Kriya Vishesha Bahulam, Bhog Aishwarya Gatim Prati. So Gati means the goal. Goal is Bhoga and Aishwarya. So that's the only goal you have. What do you do with that? So what is Bhoga and what is Aishwarya? So Bhoga is enjoyment through the five senses. That's Bhoga. That what I eat, what I see, what I hear, what I touch, what I smell, and the comforts with it, and the name and fame that goes with it. All this collection is called Bhoga. And what is Aishwarya? Aishwarya is the collection of item, money, houses, cars, whatever other stuff that we collect, that which will give us these bhogas. So Aishwarya leads to bhoga. So bhoga Aishwarya they go hand in hand. So here Bhagwan says, the bhoga Aishwarya gatim prati. That means that's their only goal. So what is their goal? More and more. More and more of every stuff, Swarga Paraha. This is I want Swarga as my. Now Swarga is, because if you think about it, Swarga is something we have been hearing forever, right? And a lot of people are working towards it. And so that means it is a very crowded place, if we have to think about it. So many people have gone there. It is like you go to a tourist place, maybe somebody says, okay, you go to, I'm just thinking, some nice tourist destination, Waikiki Beach, and you go there and there is no place to stand also. It's so crowded. It's a very beautiful place, but it is already very full. So that's what it says, that people are going to be there for, because they come for vacation. It's like a, vacation destination. So the Swarga is no different, So think of Swarga as that only. So don't give too much importance to Swarga. That's the whole point here. What is the better option? Better option is moksha. Moksha is where you see, what is it that we get through this karma cycle? We get some pleasures, right? Bhoga Aishwarya. That is what we get out of it. But this is not going to give you the peace that you are seeking. If peace is what you want, which is moksha, which means the total samatvam, that means where you cannot be disturbed by anything. If that is the goal, then these pushpitam vacham should not affect you. That means don't get involved in that, because both these things, the karma and the phala, is a cyclic thing. You cannot get a phala for which you have not put in a lot of effort. Kriya Vishesha Bahulam. If you have put in a lot of effort, you will get some phala. But this phala also will be very short-lived. That's what. or we get so, when we say pushpitam vacham, which means, you know, how the marketing departments work, or the salespeople, you go there, you want to buy something, you know, you say, okay, how much is it? He says, okay, this is $50. Okay, can I get one? But he says, if you know, put in only 20% more, you get one more for next year also. Okay, I'll put in 20%, $20 more, but you will never use it, you know. You can, so this is a enticement. This is the way to capture you. So this, Bhagwan says, be very, very cautious of this. Pushpitam Vacham, this marketing department, this salespeople of this world who are selling you all the pleasures, they are actually not doing you any favor. Because think about it. Do you really need it? You know, we have had so many pleasures in life, right? Are we totally satisfied and say, okay, you know what, मैंने एक बारी इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट में अच्छा सा खाना खा लिया, अब क्या खाना है, अब मैंने पिछले साल ही तो खाया था. We want to go there, repeat it over and over. So that is why we have this problem. So this speech, which is glorifying the pleasures of this world, you know, so, and I already told you that Bhagwan is not criticizing karma or rituals. Bhagwan is saying that the goal has to be different. If the goal is to do chitta shuddhi, then that is good, you know. But moksha should be the goal, you know, and chitta shuddhi is the means for the moksha. If you don't have chitta shuddhi, you cannot get moksha. Chitta shuddhi is what? Chitta shuddhi is basically that state of mind which is totally full of vairagya. जहाँ पे विरक्ति है, जहाँ पे ईश्वर प्रेम है, that is what chitta shuddhi is. So chitta shuddhi mein, when you are, if the world is not important to you, then you find something that is really important to us, which is the Bhagwan, because we have to develop that relationship. And he says, what kind of relationship should we develop with Bhagwan? So he says, वही relationship जो एक छोटे से बच्चे का अपनी माँ के साथ होता है. That means everything is coming to me from Bhagwan only. There is nothing that I have which I cannot attribute to Bhagwan in one form or the other. Bhagwan has given me everything. So if I am not full of gratitude for Bhagwan, if I am not full of love for Bhagwan, then I don't understand this life at all. Then I am not understanding what really is happening, you know, even because he is my caretaker. You know, if I am, see, I am breathing, right? For survival, breathing is important. Water is important, food is important. But who is giving me the, you know, continuous supply of oxygen? Who is providing me with, you know, water? You know, we can say the water department supplies that, but somewhere it is coming, right? Some huge lake is around to pump that water from. That is coming from Bhagwan only. So that kind of mindset is important. So, so if the gati is bhoga and aishwarya, then Bhagwan is saying that this is for the mudhas. Mudha means unwise or बेवकूफ, बुद्धू लोग. हाँ जी, ब्रिज. You are mute. Can't hear you. So anyway, while he is checking, then now Bhagwan says, okay, did you get it?
I think I should be okay now.
You are okay. I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was saying that I'll represent the बेवकूफ and the जो संसार में मग्न है, that
सभी हैं हम. You are not.
क्योंकि I feel like संसार is actually quite promising if I were to sell it. मतलब कि थोड़े बहुत दुख होते हैं, लेकिन गृहस्थी करो, मैरिज करो, ये सब वो सब, unless you if you factor out losses, ultimately death वगैरह तो होती है, लेकिन मतलब it seems very seductive. मतलब कि you can make money, you can travel like you were saying, and मतलब दुख भी होते हैं, उलझने भी होती हैं, लेकिन generally speaking एटलीस्ट ऐसा तो सोच सकते हैं. दिस इज हम लाइक समराइजिंग माय थिंकिंग कि व्हाई आर वी सो लॉस्ट इन दिस. वी कीप थिंकिंग कि वी कैन ऑप्टिमाइज इट इन सम वे, कि हम मैक्सिमाइज कर सकते हैं अपना प्लेजर और पॉजिटिव कंपोनेंट. थोड़ा सा दुख आएगा, वो तो इज लाइक पार्ट ऑफ
Side effects.
धूप छांव वगैरह जो हम बोलते हैं सारा. And then, but here is one thing, I think there's two things that are missing, I think, which is why I stay stuck in samsara, or someone like me. One is कि नेक्स्ट लाइफ का कोई आइडिया नहीं है. मतलब ये लगता है कि ये लाइफ जैसे भी जी लो, द बेस्ट पॉसिबल वे यू कैन. अगली लाइफ का क्या पता, हमें तो पिछली लाइफ भी याद नहीं है. तो दैट्स वन सॉर्ट ऑफ इग्नोरेंस और समथिंग, कि वो कॉज एंड इफेक्ट दैट लास्ट मोर देन वन लाइफ टाइम, दैट्स एब्सेंट. द अदर थिंग इज एब्सेंट इज कि the only model for pleasure or happiness is this temporary नाश. जो as you're saying, खाना भी खाओगे तो थोड़ी देर तक ही अच्छा लगेगा. Whatever pleasures you have is all swarg, is all temporary. But that's the only model. The model that there can be something lasting, ऐसी deep shanti or something like that, that possibility itself is absent. मतलब अगर कोई दिखाए कि तुम ये करो या वो करो, this is better, then you will go towards the better one. लेकिन उसका अनुभव हो या उसकी इच्छा हो ना, मतलब so then I think the way we come to it is sooner or later life kind of gives you enough suffering or insults you enough, you're aging, you have losses or something, कि फिर थोड़ा सा लगता है कि अच्छा ये तो मुझे, this is not what it seemed to be, ये तो डेमो था, मतलब this is not the actual thing. मतलब sooner or later
You are answering yourself. Yeah.
no, but what I'm saying
Yeah.
is कि when you, let's say if you were to say to me कि भगवान हमें सब देते हैं, ये मोक्षा भी पॉसिबल है, if I'm totally enthralled by संसार, मुझे तो कोई इंटरेस्ट भी नहीं होगा ना इन सब चीजों में.
Absolutely. That is what 99.9% people think. So point is, भोग ऐश्वर्य में लगे रहो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. भगवान भी कह रहे हैं कि मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, लेकिन इनका रिजल्ट देख लो. Have you been able to find peace through that? Have you been able to say कि I am kritkritya, I am done, I am like totally satisfied now, I have nothing more to gain out of this world? Can you say that? Can you ever come to that understanding? Bhagavan says that understanding is possible. And we have seen people who are there or almost there, where we find them at so much peace. Unki presence hi peaceful hoti hai. So that is that's why we are reading this, that there is Bhagwad Gita ko isliye itni zyada importance mili hai. So let's.
पर राजीव जी, वो जो आप जो बोल रहे हैं, वो स्टेज आने के लिए तो इतनी चित्त शुद्धि करनी पड़ेगी कि अभी तक तो डैंगल ही कर रहे हैं इधर से उधर, कभी पीसफुल है, कभी नहीं है, कभी पीसफुल है, कभी नहीं है.
तो बात नहीं, कभी तो आएगी. कभी तो मिलेगी बाहरों की बात.
वो सुबह कभी तो आएगी.
तो मुझे कल की बात रूपला जी की याद है, अभी मैं उसको पकड़ के रखूंगी कि हम ऑलरेडी क्या बोल रहे थे रूपला जी, आप जो शुद्ध बुद्ध मुक्त, हाँ, शुद्ध बुद्ध मुक्त ऑलरेडी है, बस उसी को पकड़ के रखना है.
Yeah. So it is not something you are getting a new thing. This is actually you are, जिसको बोलते हैं प्राप्तस्य प्राप्ति. You already have that. You are that. It's not like you have it. You are that. But we have put so much mal on top of it. Mala is dirt. That all our desires are nothing but dirt on top of the pure self. So यहाँ पे भगवान, will continue, will go through all these points also. क्योंकि this is all about karma yoga. He says, what is the negative impact? अभी तक हमने उसके गुण बताए कि अच्छा भोग ऐश्वर्य बड़ी अच्छी बात है, enjoy that, क्योंकि that is the only thing we are seeing, and there are people who are avipashchitaha, there's unwise people, the mudha people who are constantly guiding us in this. कि ये लो, special deal चल रही है आजकल. If you buy it in next 2 hours, we'll give you $100 discount. So we are enticed by these things. So Bhagwan says, what is the impact? Bhog Aishwarya is not, aa rahi hai, enjoy karo, koi problem nahi hai. But what is the negative impact of it? He says, Bhog Aishwarya prasaktanam taya prahata chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhau na vidhiyate. Now here, samadhau word jo hai, it is not samadhi the way we understand it in yoga. Here the samadhau is the mind. Here we are talking about the in mind. So let's understand, for such people, for who the swarga paraha, the one who think the enjoyment alone is my goal, the name, fame, wealth, all these things, the success, what we define here in worldly sense, so that is what my goal is, or the bhoga aishwarya prasaktanam, so that alone is my goal. So in mind, so what happens in mind, in samadha, in there, they will never have moksha as goal, right? They are not thinking, vyavasayatmika buddhi is not there. They are not thinking about that I need to have, when you are in karma, you are trying to achieve something, you are in that rat race, your mind is always agitated because it's a very rajasic thing to do, because so, and vyavasayatmika buddhi is very sattvic, which is very poised, equanimous. So that means the vyavasayatmika buddhi is not there, or it is totally missing. So there is no karma yoga happening there. There is no vyavasayatmika buddhi. So if someone is trying to do, or trying to reduce his, or doing chitta shuddhi, reduce his raga dvesha, they will pull him down also. These, mudhas, these avipashchitaha. So they will drag people down as well. So it's like blind leading the blind. So they will not, if they see somebody very peaceful, they say, kya baat hai, bade chupchap baithe. Chalo picture dekhne chalte hain. So they will get you involved in something,
नहीं आजकल तो राजीव जी आजकल तो बोलते हैं तुम डिप्रेस हो गए हो.
डिप्रेस हो गए, राइट. बहुत शांत दिख रहे हो, डिप्रेस हो गए. क्या प्रॉब्लम है, so why are you not searching for some new things to do, So anyway, taya pahat chetasam, so who are totally enticed by this pushpa vachita, the one with the flowery language, who are trying to entice. Not necessarily somebody is trying to do it. We see around the world and we see, okay, this guy looks very happy, so I have to be like him. He looks very cool, in this dress. Okay, I need to have that kind of a dress. So point is that we want to follow. We have the wrong leaders we have chosen to follow. That's the problem. We are looking at the mindset has to change. Everything is about the mindset, So our mind is our thoughts, samadha. Samadha means in the mind, only thing we have is objects. Next pleasure or next thing to do, next vacation. All these things is consuming us. That's what it says. That's what it means here. Some may say, okay, you know what? I don't think about objects. That is not my goal. Then what do you think? कहते हैं कई लोगों को सिर्फ चिंता ही चिंता होती है. कहते हैं वो है ना, बालस्तावत क्रीडा सकता, म्यूट है, तरुणस्तावत तरुणी सकता और वृद्धस्तावत चिंता सकता. सो सम पीपल से मुझे तो कुछ चाहिए नहीं, मैं तो दुखी इतने हैं मुझे. they are always counting their problems. जिससे भी मिलते हैं, they will have a whole list of things that they want to share. So they may be drowning in worries. So these are the second type of people. Or third type may be, you know what, I don't want these bhogas. I'm not interested in these bhogas because but they have some other insecurities in life. They are dealing with other problems in life. So point is that mind gets absorbed by these things, whether it is objects or chinta or some other insecurities. So the moksha chintanam time is not there. So they cannot think about moksha because time is consumed by this karma. Karma is a very time consuming thing. If you want to achieve something, you have to put in a lot of effort. When you put in a lot of effort, all your time is gone. So here we have to say, okay, forget about bahushakha, all these different goals that we have. Let's just stay with one single pointed goal. But if you suppose you have a single pointed goal, but if nothing is happening, then you say, you know what, it's not worth it. I was better off watching movies or going for vacations. So it's easy for us to give it up, So Bhagavan is saying all the negative effects of people who have where the goal is not vyavasayatmika buddhi. If the goal is not that, then all these things can happen. These are the different because the purpose of karma yoga was to reduce the raga dvesha. So we have to get rid of our raga dvesha. That's the goal. Because what does raga dvesha do? Raga dvesha intensifies our ahankar. And our ahankar then says, okay, what do I do next? Our ahankar wants to stay with the worldly pleasures. That's how it recognizes itself. And through karma yoga, we are actually killing it. We are slowly trying to destroy the existence of ahankar. So ahankar said, no, I'm not going to let you do that. So it is going to, so raga dvesha is its tools of ahankar. So once we understand this, actually a lot of things get clarified, slowly. Bhagwan is very kind. He will give us enough examples, enough, explanations for all these things. He says, everything begins with a firm resolve, right? आपको कुछ भी करना है तो उसके लिए पहले संकल्प जरूरी है, right? Even when you do a puja, आप सत्यनारायण पूजा भी करते हो तो भी उसके लिए पहले एक संकल्प करते हैं. Even if you are going somewhere or you want to do something, उसका एक संकल्प पहले करते हैं कि I have to do this to get this, right? That sankalp is always there. So that takes place in our buddhi or chitta. So buddhi में ये एक संकल्प आया, and for success, you have to commit to that sankalpa. That means all the efforts have to be directed to that sankalpa or that that thought that I am going to get this. So that sankalp is born, and now you are working towards it. Now, if our mind is not very strong, if our sankalp is not drada nishchay nahi hai, so what will happen is the first challenge we get, first difficulty we face, he says, yaar, ye na theek nahi tha. Maybe I am not cut out for this. Let me try something else. So we basically drop it like a hot potato. So if we have a sankalpa, we have to take it all the way, Even for any sankalpa, you need some amount of vyavasayatmika buddhi. You need that single pointed. If we want to achieve anything. But here we are, if our goal is moksha, then we have to stick to that no matter what. We have to let anything happen. Here, I'm going by the Shankara commentary, which I thought was very wonderful in this one. So he says, if the resolve is not there, then we pay the price of not getting the vyavasayatmika buddhi. So once that resolve is there, resolve in this case was that I want to get rid of my raga dvesha. At least start with some amount of raga dvesha, if not all the raga dvesha, say I will not, whatever happens, if I get this, fine. If I don't get this, fine. If that kind of resolve is there, then my mind will not be disturbed if I don't get it or if I get it. So either ways, my mind will be at peace. So, because if we are constantly in this cycle of karma, then that mind will never come to that state of peace. As long as raga dvesha are there, they will not let us rest. They will not give us that peace. So that is what Bhagwan is saying. I think we are. So always remember, what is the goal of Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga is to develop chitta shuddhi, and chitta shuddhi will come when we have eliminated raga dvesha. So chitta shuddhi means absence of raga dvesha. So chitta shuddhi is not a state of mind that, okay, it is just absence of raga dvesha. That means you are at peace all the time with all the things, with all the results. So this is what it is. And you have to think your actions as seva to the samsara or seva for Bhagwan, that I am doing this as a service because Bhagwan has given me so much. Let me pay back through my seva. If I get something, good. If I don't get something, good. If I get praise for it, fine. If I get criticized for it, fine. You have to, because our goal has to be that firm resolve that moksha alone is my goal. Then we can walk this path. Now Krishna says, Bache, this is what the avivekis do. What I have told you in the last 3 verses is the avivekis, which is devoid of the viveka buddhi. For them, goal is success in the worldly things, that I want to achieve this, I want to get this, and they may get this also. So it is not like if you have a sankalp, you will get it. There is no, Bhagwan says, if you ask me something, I'll give it to you. But whether it is good for you or not, that is something we have to decide. Now Bhagwan says, forget about what I have told you in the last 3. This is for a viveki person. For you, I have a special instruction. So now Bhagwan says, this is what you have to do. And this we will do on Tuesday, number 45. So if you read it in ahead of time, it will be fun. We'll all discuss it more. But if you have any questions before we conclude, yes, sir.
I think I was reflecting on your statement that moksha needs to be like a nishchayatmak buddhi or goal, because Arjun did not want moksha. He only asked for relief from his vishad, and that's like common situation. I can identify with that, क्योंकि मन में उलझन है, ये सब वो सब अगर देख भी लिया कि pleasures are transient and all that, तो I just want relief from them. मुझे तो पता ही नहीं है मोक्ष क्या होता है, अगली लाइफ क्या होती है, ये कर्म वगैरह क्या होते हैं. So first I seek relief, and then भगवान says कि अच्छा अगर आपको शांति भी चाहिए तो उसके लिए समता भाव पैदा करो, राग द्वेष थोड़ा कम करो, उस तरह से करके. मतलब to have moksha as a goal is a very high goal. मतलब it could be like a elitist swarg like goal, although we say it's moksha or something. हमें तो पता ही नहीं है मोक्ष क्या होता है. So that's one observation.
That should be your question. कि हमें पता ही नहीं है मोक्ष क्या होता है. So let's discuss that first.
Okay.
Rather than, because we think it is a thing, just like we have a, billion-dollar portfolio. It is a thing, moksha. Moksha is not a thing. It is just identification with who you are. It is an inward journey, not an outward journey. So you cannot achieve moksha. Moksha is you are actually, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta, you are always that. It is just that we don't recognize our own true nature as that. We recognize it as some incomplete, finite being who is looking to complete itself. So we are constantly, how will we complete itself? We think the only thing that is available to us is the sansar, right? So whatever maximized things I can get from samsar is my goal, because that will complete me, because I'll have more than anybody else around me. But moksha is not a goal of, to get something. Moksha is giving up everything. Moksha is recognizing my own true nature as Shuddha Mukta, Shuddha Buddha Mukta. That is the state that we already are. Bhagwan is saying you are already that. So goal is inward journey. Inward journey means recognizing my own true nature. It is not something that we have to get like as you said, elitist approach to it. It is not something you get. You are not getting something new.
Yeah, no, I understand.
In karma, you are getting something new which is other than you, right? Yeah, recognize that. Whatever you are getting is something that is not you. Money is not you. Things are not you. Pleasures are not you. Everything is different from you. You think these are completing me. These are going to make me more comfortable, more, Bhoga Aishwarya is my goal. It will get me more and more. But point here is that no matter what you get, Bhagwan says you will always be incomplete, because you are looking at the wrong place. You are complete yourself. So you have to understand your true nature. That is what moksha is. So moksha is not elitist desire for something. It is actually giving up everything that is not you.
Yeah, no, I think that's very clear, and that's the key point. So Rajiv, I sort of understand this framework, but I think the key point, as you're saying, is ki even in Bhog and Aishwarya, there's a trishna, there's a craving for that completing the incompleteness and all that. Matlab, underneath all the pleasure, excitement, and everything, which is distracting, which is quite absorbing, nevertheless, one is left with that incompleteness, that apurnata you just mentioned. So until one develops a distaste for that apurnata or that pain, one feels a little bit of a vairagya or desire to leave that behind, then one becomes a little bit interested in ki, acha, if once, because then I've seen through ahankar. Because one other, I think, important point is that ahankar is a delusional kind of self or identity. Matlab, ahankar thinks I am my body, I am this mind, I am this, I am the doer, I am the karta. So I've completely lock, stock and barrel adopted it, identified with it without realizing कि अहंकार मुझे काफी दुख देता है. मतलब अहंकार's goal is not to make me.
अहंकार ही दुख देता है,
हाँ,
काफी दुख नहीं देता.
हाँ,
अहंकार ही दुख देता है और कोई दुख नहीं देता.
And its goal is not even to make me satisfied or content or anything. Its goal is to perpetuate itself or whatever, survive or something like that. So first I have to see कि, I don't know how to quite say it, कि it's as if I've been taken over by this machine or this ahankar like being or something like that, where I say कि इसने मतलब मेरा घर आके जब्त कर लिया है, and I have to reclaim my actually who I really am, you know, because yes, in a what seemed like a friend is actually not my friend. Matlab, it's actually causing so much suffering and everything, but it's the thing I'm most familiar with. So you know, it's like killing that off would be like महाभारत में ये युद्ध जो हुआ है ना, like आप गुरु हैं ये सब वो सब, तो मतलब अहंकार तो बड़ा अच्छा लगता है मुझे. मैं तो ब्रिज हूँ, मैंने ये किया, मैंने वो किया, मैं तो वो करूंगा, मैं तो ये करूंगा, this and that, you know. It's like whatever identity one identifies with is so you know,
this is the myth we are trying to get out of. This myth of ahankar alone is me, is what we are trying to see. This is not something we study anywhere else. Science doesn't teach us. Science believes in the world as real. So that is our problem, that we have no other way of learning it. So Bhagwad Gita and other Shastras are the only way. See, that is why they are the only pramana we have.
Jyotiji wants to add something.
So that means goals होने ही नहीं चाहिए. Not even परोपकारी goals.
एक ही goal होना चाहिए, मोक्ष. नहीं goals.
हाँ, नहीं, after if in this world, परोपकारी goals होने चाहिए. Like I'm working in a hospital. Like मेरा hospital, shouldn't have another hospital which will help all people. And as a parent also, मेरा goal होना चाहिए to make my children good individuals, उनको अच्छी पढ़ाई लिखाई देके अच्छा individual बनाना. ये सारे goals तो हमारे होने ही चाहिए. And परोपकार वाले goals तो को और आगे ले जाने में क्या बुराई है?
कोई बुराई नहीं है. भगवान ने भी नहीं कहा कोई बुराई है. भगवान ने कहा है अगर आपके कर्मों से आपकी चित्त शुद्धि हो रही है, that means the results are not the problem. Whatever results happen, if you are not agitated because you tried to do something good for the kids and kids didn't respond, अगर उससे आपका mind disturbed हो रहा है, then it is a problem. If your mind has the equilibrium or the equanimous mind is there, that means that you are not bothered about the result. कर्मों के लिए भगवान ने कभी प्रॉब्लम मना नहीं किया है. भगवान कह रहे हैं कि जो रिजल्ट्स उसके साथ आ रहे हैं, अगर if your thing is that I am doing good and something in return should happen, that means my goodness should be rewarded somehow, then there is a problem. Goodness किए जाओ, goodness के लिए कौन मना कर रहा है? As long as karmas are done for chitta shuddhi, then it is not a problem. All good karmas are welcome. भगवान कहते हैं करो ना, इस संसार में और क्या करोगे, तुम खाली थोड़ी बैठे रहोगे. So you have to get engaged in this world.
But when you're trying to
get engaged in the world.
Right.
Sorry, I couldn't get it.
But you do get, I mean, when you're trying to achieve some goal, you do have a lot of problems also. ऐसे नहीं होता कि बड़ा straightforward हो रहा है कि you are doing something and
problem नहीं होते.
तो problems आती है.
But if you
so फिर goal तो give up, you should give up the goal, not in that.
No. This is exactly what we talked about. That if you have a firm resolve then you go take it all the way. Problem is not with the karma. Problem is with the expectation from this karma that I should get this. उससे जो राग द्वेष पैदा हो रहे हैं उनसे प्रॉब्लम है. कर्मों से किसी को प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. भगवान नहीं कहते कि कर्म मत करो. उसको तो कह रहे हैं तू लड़ाई कर बेटा. You get involved, you know, युद्धस्व भारत, you know, you get, उसको तो सबसे ज्यादा मुश्किल काम में डाल रहे हैं. But point is not, but with what mindset is what we are talking about, you know. सुख दुखे समे कृत्वा लाभा लाभो जया जयो.
Go ahead, Jyoti. Go ahead, Jyoti.
Right. That's it. Nothing. That's it.
Yeah, I would say it in a different way. Sorry.
मैंने कहा it makes sense, right?
Rajiv, it makes sense to me, but I'll say it in a slightly different way. Sorry to persist on this, because I have read everything and I know the right answer, but I constantly have to look कि मुश्किल क्यों होती है to stay with the goal of moksha. And my feeling is कि firstly एक confusion है कि you had explained this before very beautifully. एक confusion ये है कि satisfaction चीजों के फल से आता है, बाहरी चीजों से आता है. Because we feel कि the Hawaii trip, the new car, the new business, the new relationship, उसके first there is that confusion, mirage-like confusion. फिर उसके पीछे हम भागते हैं संकल्प करके, right? ये कोई मिलेगा, फिर हमें शांति मिलेगी या कुछ आएगा. So you had explained this very beautifully before कि even when you get something, वो जब तृष्णा शांत हो जाती है, you feel good for that temporarily, उससे फिर आनंद आता है. So first clarification one has to realize, just like Arjuna did. Arjuna was thinking कि whether he fights or not fights, kills or not kills, that will make him happy or unhappy, पाप पुण्य. But then भगवान is telling him कि नहीं, वो उससे नहीं होता पाप पुण्य, तुम्हारे मन में जो है your attitude, इसलिए समता भाव होगा कि. So I think first one has to arrive this clarification कि happiness, unhappiness कहाँ से आती है, बाहर से आती है कि अंदर से आती है. अब अगर ये क्लियर होने लगा कि अंदर से आती है, तो फिर अपने आप ही थोड़ा सा फल से कम हो जाएगा. मतलब फिर ये भी समझ में आ जाए कि राग द्वेष कम करो और काम भी करते रहो, and you can even enjoy probably, you know, once you have samta bhav and happiness अंदर से है, then
you really, that is the only time you really enjoy. अगर समता भाव आ जाए तो you enjoy all the time. The problem is कि the real happiness is in us all the time.
Yeah.
हमने दुख को ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस देनी शुरू कर दी है. That's the problem.
I think you had said at the very beginning before the class began, you want to bring this up कि original karma कब शुरू हुआ था. You said कि once you said कि I am this, they like asatya, that is the beginning of the problem.
Yeah.
मतलब that's the beginning of the problem. ना मतलब then you're apurna, you're incomplete, फिर इधर उधर कंप्लीट करने के लिए भागते हो.
पूर्णता की तरफ भाग रहे हो आप.
हाँ. But it's a very
पूर्णता कहीं मिल नहीं सकती ना आपको.
नहीं, but it's a very sincere confusion. मतलब कि once you have identified with that, लगता है कि बाहरी कुछ होगा, मतलब और दूसरे लोग खुश लगते हैं तो मैं भी कुछ करूं तो मैं भी खुश हो जाऊंगा.
I know.
I'm trying to.
और दूसरे लोग खुश होने का ढोंग भी करते हैं.
हाँ.
You know कि मैं बड़ा खुश हूँ, मैं खुश हूँ, मेरे आंसुओं पे न जाना. एक ऐसा भी गाना था.
But we do get that temporary happiness. That cannot be denied, though, right? We do get that, and we feel fulfilled. That
is what keeps us going for the next one. See, वो खत्म हो जाती है ना क्विकली, तो फिर कहते हैं अच्छा नेक्स्ट क्या, एक वेकेशन से आए अब नेक्स्ट वेकेशन कहाँ जाएंगे. प्लानिंग पहले से ही शुरू हो जाती है.
That's me.
Well, all of us, you know.
We all want some excitement, some entertainment. मतलब actually the shanti, this unchanging and unmoving, maybe it is extremely satisfying, like nectar, but it's like a constant thing. ना हमें तो up downs भी चाहिए, drama भी चाहिए, you know.
भगवान ने बड़ा अच्छा कहा है कि this is so much work, so much effort we have to put in, you know. The kriya vishesh bahulam, you know, it is like you are constantly engaged for this little pleasure that you get at the end of it.
No, you're right. It's exhausting. The struggle is exhausting. We don't recognize that. Yeah.
So, अब भगवान जो बताने वाले हैं ना उसको that is about the same subject that you talked about. How he should work, what should be his thing. So we'll discuss that.
I think you're very right. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to ask one thing, Rajiv. You said something about chitta shuddhi, and you said it's like a child's relationship to the mother. I'm thinking because.
Go ahead.
Is that because of like total surrender, where you think that? But when I look at the other way, like mother's relationship to the child, out of love and everything, I think the mother, it's like an extension of her, right? So it's like all one. So is there a difference between the way the two things happen?
When I say as a child, you have to think like a little child, jiski 100% dependence is mother. Mother only is taking care of it. Usko खड़ा होना भी नहीं आता. माँ ही हाथ पकड़ के उसको चलाती है, माँ ही उसको हाथ से खाना खिला रही है, माँ ही उसको पानी भी पिला रही है, दूध भी पिला रही है. So mother alone is everything for that kid. Because if you think about it, everything is being provided for us. ये तो suddenly हमने सोच लिया है कि I am the one who is provider for my family. I am the one who is taking care of everything. If I am not there, the world is going to fall apart. So point here is that जब तक mind में ये if we don't develop this thought process कि why should I have anything to do with God? What is God to me? If I think of Bhagwan as some third person sitting somewhere, then my relationship will be like a जैसे बाकी दोस्तों से है कि कभी-कभी फोन पे बात कर ली, तो कभी-कभी याद कर लिया. But if it is a relationship like a child to mother, that is constantly there, and the reason it should be there is because the idea of God is the one हमारे में जो है is not about a creator or this thing. It is pantheistic. भगवान को हम लोग कहते हैं कि do you believe in one God or many gods? This is the question अक्सर people will ask. Is Hinduism believes in one God or many gods? So उसको कहते हैं we don't believe in one God or many God. We believe everything is God. So it is a very pantheistic way of looking at it. कि हर चीज ही भगवान है. हर चीज में भगवान is one way to look at it. हर चीज ही भगवान है. Then you are actually interacting with Bhagwan in everything. When you eat, you are interacting with Bhagwan. When you sleep, you are waking. जो भी कर रहे हो उसके अंदर भगवान alone is at work. It is supporting you in every step. अब सोचो ना, आपका खाना आपने मुंह में डाल लिया, उसके बाद भगवान ही तो काम कर रहा है आप में. It's the one which is actually helping you digest. It is helping you excrete. It is making that at a cellular level that food is being changed into protein and whatever else. It is providing nutrition at a cellular level. It is making the blood out of it. It is making urine out of it. So everything is nothing but that alone. So once we have that understanding, it starts with just a thought कि हाँ ऐसा है, Bhagwan is like that. But you slowly develop that love for, because when you see Bhagwan in every action, then suddenly Bhagwan becomes so close to you. Abhi Bhagwan is far away. मंदिर में जाके घंटी बजा के we have to wake him up. भगवान जागो, मुझे ये चाहिए. याद रखो, I am also there. I need this quickly. Don't forget me. So when you are constantly, then मंदिर गए नहीं गए, it doesn't matter, because Bhagwan is constantly with me all the time in every action. So
But Rajiv,
So
go ahead. Someone else. Rupamji, you go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to say, I read somewhere, don't use Bhagwan for your life, but use your life for Bhagwan, same as,
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to add ki, although it's true, everything is Bhagwan, and we know that definitive absolute viewpoint, even our Brahm and Jiva, everything is Bhagwan. Jad is Bhagwan, everything is Bhagwan, we know that. However, Bhagwan, although he provides for us in the way you're describing, which is that attitude we should have, अपना पुरुषार्थ भी तो होता है ना, मतलब भगवान ऐसे ऑटोमेटिकली हम घर में बैठे हुए हैं, थोड़ा इज नॉट प्रोवाइडिंग फॉर अस, थोड़ा सा कुछ हाथ पांव मारने पड़ते हैं, थोड़ा प्रयत्न करना पड़ता है, यू टू पुट फूड इन योर माउथ और look for a job or something like that, तो वो भी तो करना पड़ता है. Similarly, Bhagwan, although he's showing us the path for moksha, like in the Bhagwad Gita, तभी प्रयत्न हमें करना है, स्वधर्म भी पालना है, कर्म भी करने हैं, कर्म योग भी करना है, मतलब थोड़ी सी तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है ना, मतलब although Bhagwan is there every step of the way, in fact everything we get or don't get, we can take on that viewpoint you were saying just now, लेकिन हमारी वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी तो है.
भगवान कहते रहे युद्ध कर, get engaged. भगवान ने कहा कब कहा कि तू बैठ जा घर में.
So it's a very good point, Bridget, that you brought out. So there are two types of things that reference of mother-child relationship that Rajiv gave. That what kind of relationship of the jiva with Bhagwan should be is that of mother and child. But then that also is of two types. So one is that of a newborn baby monkey clinging to the mother, and the mother jumping around, but the baby has to hold on for his life, even though he has put in all the faith and trust in the mother that she's going to take me from here to there and there to there, whatever. But then he has to cling to the mother. He has to put in that. But then the other one is like that of a kitten and a cat, newborn. There, even that bit of doership is not there. The kitten just let the mother move him around. So mother grabs him by the neck and then goes around and puts him there or whatever. So that relationship also of a mother and child is of two types, So we have to sort of sift through that as well. They are saying that ultimate, so while Purusharth is important, that doership also of that Purusharth is also to be dropped and be like a kitten and surrender that doership as well. While a baby monkey still has the doership that I am holding on to the mother and then mother is taking care of me, So even that thing, so while Purusharth is important and is needed, without that even Kripa doesn't happen. But then even that doership of that Purusharth also has to be dropped.
Yeah, ultimately that wo jo ichha hai moksha ki, that I have to get moksha, you have to become that. It's not that.
Yes. So that ichha also, it is said that ichha, in fact, just the other day in another satsang we were doing this, that ichha also of moksha just doesn't happen like that. That also gets kindled in a purer antahkarana. So the more we make our antahkarana shuddha, the better chances of that burning desire to get there will happen. That get there in the sense that to be free will happen. So even for that also, that so it's very, very essential. All of these, whatever sadhana paddhati and one acquires, some people do this, other do that. Doesn't matter what, but whatever it is that we do, the whole idea of any kind of sadhana is chitta shuddhi. And the purer the chitta becomes, the more chance of that fiery mumukshutvam to arise. Otherwise just a thought. Otherwise it's not. So we think of mumukshutvam, but it is not really a mumukshutvam. It's just a thought that I should have that as a goal, or I should develop mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam is the desire to be free. So until such time, it is just a thought in the mind. So it is just intellectually we appreciate that, but it is not, It has not happened yet.
Very nicely said, Rupaji.
Right.
So I wanted to, the other day I was listening to some other satsang, which what the free will, when Bridget mentioned about Purushartha. So the free will is, we have the free will, but it's very limited. We have the free will, but there's very limitation. So the example that was given was when the pilot is on the runway, the pilot is given a path or an air path that that they have to follow from destination A to destination B. But the pilot, because of all the wind directions and the clouds or whatever, you know, the plane is in that path only 30% of the time. It's wavering, not exactly completely following the exact path, but eventually it gets to its destination. So the free will that we have is limited, but eventually if we hold on to the path, we will get to the destination.
So, you know, that example that often you must have heard in so many other satsangas that that is given is that of a ox tied to a limited slack of rope, and going in circle around the water well, pulling the water through the well. So his leeway is only this. So within this, he can be here and there, but then that's about it. Beyond that, he cannot make a bigger circle than that. He can make maybe smaller, and even smaller also is not possible. But then maybe there is some room for that. But he cannot go beyond that, you know. So yeah, or any cattle tied to a tree with some rope. So however long the rope is, only that far this one can go and graze or whatever. Beyond that, it cannot go. So that much kind of free will we have, but we do not have more than that, you know. So it has.
Sometimes I do get confused with, like, there's no clarity in my mind. At least I'm talking about for myself, about the free will and the destination, destined to be. Something is destined to be, because sometimes, you know, the mind plays, you know, abhi tak itna chitta shuddhi nahi hua hai na ki wo ignorance completely has been unveiled, that we see it very clearly as per our scriptures. So I still get very confused with, or at least in my mind, like, is this supposed to be the free will, or is it, am I doing the right thing, or even when we have the choice, if we choose A or B, was it destined to be because I chose A, or should I have chosen B? Sometimes, you know, that's confusing too.
No, so it really should not be. So it doesn't matter whether you chose A or B. Wherever you have to reach, you will reach ultimately. Like you gave the example of the airplane, that weather, when the weather is going bad, the pilot has a little bit of leeway here, whether he goes around the cloud on the left or around the cloud on the right, you know. But he has to come back on the track and then eventually bring you to the destination. So in that choice you may make, so that comes to the point of that destiny, that you're destined to be, to achieve or reach wherever you need to reach. Doesn't matter what choices you make, but in the moment when the choices are there, that's when viveka has to be kicked in, and that's why they encourage us to develop that viveka, that in the moment, out of those choices, whatever seems to be the best choice per your viveka shakti, you make that choice. But so it may appear in the moment, in the current time, that after all, it was not the best choice. I could have taken the other route. But then point is, when it comes to destiny, if we just start sort of entertaining that thought a little bit, that ultimately whatever is destined to happen will happen. But in the moment, you have to make a choice.
Right. So we try to blame ourselves, right? Ki अरे मैंने ये choose किया है, so अभी इसका ये result आ गया. And I know it was meant to be at that, but we try to, because it was our choice to make that.
Correct. So choices have to be made, because we cannot settle into the thought of destiny, because if we did, then we will become complacent. We will say, okay, whatever has happened is bound to happen. So why should I even put in any effort? And to avoid that complacency to set in, the Shastras prescribe that Purushartha, that in the moment you have to do what you have to do. And use your viveka, develop that viveka, develop enough sharpness so that you end up making more correct choices than wrong choices. But then you have to choose and do. So choose and do is the only option. You have no other choice. And then whatever destiny is will happen. But we cannot settle into that thought.
But Rupla ji, one can't have it both ways. एक तरह से तो हम choices, we're making choices and choosing the right action or best to the best of our ability. चित्त शुद्धि के लिए भी प्रयत्न कर रहे हैं, मेडिटेशन भी कर रहे हैं, श्रवणम मननम निधिध्यासन सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, परोपकार भी कर रहे हैं, स्वधर्म का भी पालन कर रहे हैं. This is all our responsibility. इसमें पुरुषार्थ है, doership. बल्कि it's hard to give up doership. Without doership, how could we choose an action? So if we say कि सब कुछ predestined and then the free will choice making is an illusion. मतलब भगवान ये सब करवा रहे हैं. But
that's why to settle into the thought of destiny is not prescribed. That's why Purushartha is prescribed and stressed upon. That's why developing Viveka Shakti is, and to come to a point of doership, of course, they're not saying don't do, and don't think that it is you who is doing. They're saying don't get attached to that thought. That's all they're saying. Dropping doership means don't get attached to that thought. So you have, let's say, you felt some karuna sort of came through because you saw a certain situation and now you want to do something about it, and you go ahead and do something about it, whether you get on your hands and knees or whether you donate your time or whether you donate your money or whatever it is, but you actually do something about it. But then when you do it, then you have done and you're done with, you move on. But if you keep looking back and then, whenever first opportunity and you start talking about it, that listen, look, you remember such a thing had happened, such a calamity had happened back then, and so much help was needed. I was the first one. I was the first respondent, That means that you did, but you're still stuck in that. You want some credit for that, or you want the whole world to know that it is you who helped out, That is what they are asking you to refrain from. That is attachment to that doership, that action. So
that's actually called only karma, not karma yoga. Because when you just do karma, you actually fight more amongst yourself, saying that maine kiya, mujhe credit chahiye.
Yes.
That's actually only karma. That's not karma yoga.
So when they say drop the doership, that's what it means. That of course you will be doing things, because as long as you live, you will be doing things. There is no other way.
So you agree that in order to do things, to at least attempt to make the right choices, one has to have the ability to do and to choose. Which is पुरुषार्थ के लिए कुछ तो freedom चाहिए, कुछ तो इच्छा शक्ति चाहिए. What you're saying is, Rajiv ji, and you're saying the similar thing. कि Rajiv, you're saying कि जो कुछ भी होता है उस भगवान की तरफ से होता है, क्योंकि भगवान is everything. But what was I lost my thread now. But basically, the confusion, the doership. It's hard for me to both have the responsibility of trying to do the right things, स्वधर्म का भी पालन करना है, at the same time thinking कि I'm not the doer. मतलब even if I don't say it to anyone, मतलब I won't mention it to anyone. But as Madhuji was saying, suppose you took some action and it didn't result in the right outcome or something. So ठीक है, we're detached about the result. But when this human thought arises ki, had I taken a different action, would my child have been happier or whatever, someone else would have been happier, something like that. So it's hard not to reflect upon that when originally we actually had the freedom to make a choice,
Here's the thing, and my thought on that, and it's just completely my opinion, that when you look back and say, oh my God, if I had done this, perhaps the results would have been different. So you get entangled in that thought that only if I had chosen it differently. Think for a moment, can you change what is happening today? Can you go back in time and fix that? And if the answer is no, even faintly no, then no point. What's the point? Why waste your time and energy now on that? So that's what they say.
I'll give you an example.
That's what it means. Sorry?
I'll give you an example. See, these days I'm looking for work. I'm on many prospective sales conversations, right? So depending on your conversation, I think is moving forward or not, whatever. So even though I can't change the past, I would like to reflect on what worked and what didn't work. Did I speak too much? Did I not listen or something like that? And therefore, when I take future actions, I want my choices to be better. And that's my purpose for reflection.
So for your betterment, you're reflecting upon it, and that's fine. But if it bothers you that, oh my God, if only if I had done this, then it is a fruitless exercise. That kind of contemplation is fruitless. It would be fruitful if you could actually, in fact, change that in today's time, in today's or present time. But if that's not if your answer is no, then that's a fruitless exercise, that kind of reflection. But reflection to learn from that, of course, it's a very positive thing.
Yeah, I think
probably
a paradox. Go ahead, Nirupama ji.
No, I was just going to say, at the time we make that first decision, maybe it was the right decision, right?
Correct.
We knowingly, I don't think we try to make any wrong decisions. We always think whatever we are doing is the right thing.
No, sometimes we just don't know, right? We just like
we don't.
So, but not knowing, but at that time we think that is what it is. I may or may not know, based on the knowledge I have at that particular time, that is the right decision, right?
Exactly. In the moment, whatever appeared to you as the best choice, that's what you chose. In the moment, nobody chooses the wrong. Okay, you are thinking, you are churning, there are two choices in front of you, so you decide whether I take this and that, and you weighed pros and cons of both, and then your Viveka Shakti said, okay, this appears to be the best choice. So based on your abilities and in the moment, you chose the right thing. It was not wrong.
The choice could be between prayers and shreyas, and you chose prayers. Then you can regret later.
Yeah.
I should have chosen shreyas. But
So
then that can be a learning exercise also. You know, that I have made every choice I have made is prayers choice. Then maybe I should try shreyas also once in a while. Then see if it makes a difference.
Yeah.
If it makes me happier.
But Rajiv, I would say it in a different way. I think for me it's a paradox, just as is inaccurate to think that my body functions by itself, digestion, as you were saying, you know, all the hydrogen atoms, etc., part of the universe and all that. Similarly, hamari buddhi, nishchay, shakti, all this choice ability, how can it be mine? I mean, so
actually, this is where we have to evolve to. See, अभी तक हम ये सोचते आ रहे हैं. You know, एक बड़ी अच्छी कहानी सुनाता हूँ. Maybe we can just stop the recording.
Then I was just saying कि मैं भगवान से पूछना चाहता हूँ कि भगवान ये क्यों करवा